Have you ever wanted an amazing stacked stone fireplace? Well, in this episode, I'm going to show you how you can achieve this gorgeous look for less than 200 bucks. Okay, first we need to determine the total square footage of veneer stone that you'll need. So, just multiply the width of the area by the height. Then subtract the square footage of the fireplace, windows, doors, etc. Once you get that figured, I suggest that you increase that number by around about 5 to 10% to allow for cutting and trimming your stones. Next, you'll need a roll of felt, and all you do is roll that out and start cutting off some strips that'll cover the area that you need to cover. For me, I only needed about 3, so I had plenty left over. The felt is to help protect your walls from any moisture from the mortar that we're going to be applying, and you'll only need one layer. Go on ahead and get yourself a box of 1-inch roofing nails. Those broad heads will help hold everything in place. Now, before nailing everything up, I recommend that you identify your studs first. You can do this with a cheap stud finder that you can find at Lowe's for around about 15 bucks. That'll get the job done just fine. When putting up your felt, you should start from the bottom and work your way up to the top and make sure that your sheets overlap by about 6 inches. I kind of messed up in this one right here because of the weird angle at the ceiling, but I went back and corrected it later. Next, you'll want to use some expanded metal lathe, also known as metal mesh. You'll want to cut it before or after using some metal snips. Then once you get everything cut properly, go on ahead and nail those up, making sure that you hit the studs that you established the location of before. Now once you got everything looking good and secure with your nails at about 6-inch intervals, you're ready to move on to the next step. Now before I move on to the next step, I want to let you know that I wanted to install a floating shelf over my fireplace, and I was able to find one at Lowe's for less than $30. If you want to go on ahead and install one, then now's the time to do it at this point in the project. The instructions in the box are pretty self-explanatory. You'll want to get it level, so make sure that you use a conventional level, or you can use a laser level like the one I used in this project. It'll help out with your decor later on, as you'll probably want to mount pictures, candles, maybe some holiday stockings or something like that with some stick-on hooks. Doesn't matter. It always helps to have something that you can accentuate your design with. Now it's time for your scratch coat. You'll want to start this off with some stone veneer mortar. I was able to find this at Home Depot because the Lowe's where I live at didn't carry any, but it might be different in your neck of the woods. Now, once you dump out the contents of the bag, I like to dig through my mortar to see if I can find any rocks or something like that in there that'll cause problems later on. Now make sure to stir in some water as needed. Remember, you can always add, but you can never take away. Stir it in until you can get a consistency, something like what I have right here. It's not an exact science, so you'll have to eyeball it. Also, I recommend you put down a drop cloth before you start working with mortar indoors. Trust me, it makes for an easy cleanup and it'll save you a lot of grief later. Now the only thing you got to do is load up your spreader and start spreading the news. Make sure you cover the entire area of the metal lathe that you put up. It's going to hold it in place, so make sure it's thick. Me personally, I like getting in there about 1/2 inch to make sure that I have enough room for all the scratches I have to put in there to hold my stacked stones in place. Once you got that out the way, get yourself a flooring trowel and use the groove side of it to literally start putting scratches into your mortar. After that, let it sit for a period of 24 hours to cure. So for our stacked stone mortar, I use the same veneer mortar, only this time we're going to use the same type of dye that we used to color our stones in the first place, and this time I recommend using a drill paddle mixer to really get in there. Now start loading up the back of your stacked stones with mortar and work your way from the bottom to the top. And be sure to stagger your stone patterns too to give it more of a random and natural look. When it came down to cutting my stones, I used a fiber concrete blade for my circular saw. And to smooth out any rough or delicate edges, I just use my grinder. And remember this, each stone that you stack is one more stone that you don't have to. When you have no more stones, the only thing you have to do is clean up after yourself. Take some pride in your hard work. You've done a great thing, and you've learned a new skill that no one can take away from you. If you do not, however, want to make your own stacked stone molds, you can purchase some low-cost ABS molds off of Amazon. I'll make sure to include a link in the description if you want to go that route. We were actually able to pull off this amazing fireplace right here for less than about 150 bucks. If you would have bought like the veneers and stuff yourself, it could have cost well over that. Like I said, they can be really expensive. You can actually pull this project off in a couple of days if the conditions are right and everything dries properly. Also bear in mind that a project like this is not necessarily confined to the indoors either. You can spice up the front of your home, or maybe you have a garden or something like that that you want to spice up for when guests come over and you want them to bask in the glow of all your hard work. Also remember, there's going to be 2 other videos that you're going to need to watch if you're going to make your own stack stones like the ones we used in this video. I'll put a link in the description up top for this. I mean, we're talking 10-15 minutes out of your day that can change your whole life and change up the entire look of your home. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video, and have fun with it. What's up, it's Mike here, and I want to borrow a quick second of your time. Now, it's no secret that I like making cool stuff and teaching you guys how to beautify where you live at. But I do run a business that affords me the opportunity to do that each day without having to worry about going to work and all sorts of things like that. And if you're watching this video, 9 times out of 10, you're probably working a job that you wish you could quit and wish you had more money in your pocket. That's okay. So if you want to learn how to take a small amount of your money and translate that into thousands of dollars for yourself each month, then I've put together a free training, and I've put a link down in the description. It's going to take you to a landing page where you can learn more about what I'm talking about. I've put together some free products that I think are going to benefit you a lot, and it's really going to change your life. So if you're interested, click the link below and I'll see you there. With that being said, I'll see you in the next video.